Hi guys, it's Candi. Welcome back. So today it's time for another Ask Candi episode, and I have the questions here on my phone. So if you guys don't know how this works, basically I have you guys ask me questions either through email, mail at ourfamilynest.com, or through Instagram. You can send me a DM. Just put Ask Candi at the top or in the subject of the email, and you guys just ask me for my advice or opinion on things. And if this is your first time watching one of these episodes, you kind of get an idea of what kind of questions and stuff people ask once we jump into it. Okay, so the first question, and I love this first one, it reads, I am a nurse and I currently work as an administrator in nursing education, which I absolutely love. I don't make as much money as I would like to, but I have very flexible work hours and I love my boss. I have recently been offered a job as a director of nursing in a hospital setting. My new boss would be one of my friends. She offered me the job. This new position would double my salary, but the hospital setting is not as appealing to me as the educational setting. I'm really struggling on what I should do. Do I keep my current job in the dream setting for much less pay, or do I take a huge raise, 6 figures, and move out of the educational setting? I am 30 years old with 2 kids under 2, by the way. So I love that the question ended with your age and the fact that you have small children, because to me, that's kind of what I base my answer off of. I feel like to answer that, I would say, where are you at in life? Like, are you really 100% focused on your career? And that's what you want to go after, is the highest paying, best job title out there that can double your salary? Or are you more in the mindset that yes, career is important to you, you want to bring home a good paycheck, but you also want to end your work at a certain time every day and come home and be the best mom that you can be? Because it sounds like this new position, being a director, is probably going to be a lot more responsibility, a lot more stressful. You've already said that you have your dream job, your dream setting of being in the educational setting, but yet I get it. It's got to be hard to say no to a job that's twice as much money, but I feel like the fact that you're young still, 30 years old, you're very young, you have small children, I feel like maybe if it were me, I would want to focus more on my family, because soon your kids are going to be signing up for activities and sports, and you're going to want to be able to go to their practices and their games. And are you going to have all that kind of job flexibility with a director of nursing position? Maybe not. Like, what if one of your kids takes dance and you need Fridays off to go to some competitions? Are you going to be able to do that with this director position? And then I think the big question would be, if you say no to this job, what's the likelihood that you would get that same opportunity in the future? Maybe once your kids are teenagers, like 13, somewhere around in there. Like, could you delay it for like 10 years? Because if it were me, that's what I would do. I mean, I knew very early on in my life that being a mom and having a family was one of the most important things to me. I didn't care as much about the career. So, which is why I never went back and finished college and was a stay-at-home mom for several years, because that was what was most important to me. So I feel like career-wise, 2 things I would ask. If your family as a whole needs you to make more money to live the lifestyle that you enjoy or have created for yourselves, like, I'm going to assume, and I don't want to assume this, but I'm going to assume that you have a partner who is also providing to the family financially. If together you guys are doing just fine, providing for your family and enjoying your life without you doubling your salary, I would probably stick with this job that you call your dream setting. Like, why would you leave that and create a job with more responsibility while have your hands full at home at the same time? Maybe put that on hold for like 10, 12 years. Like, you're still going to have plenty of time. Even at 40 years old, you're still going to have 25 more years to focus on your career. Might just be, maybe your kids are just a little too young. The timing of it just might not be the best. That's how I feel about it. I would probably keep the easier job, dream setting and hope that an opportunity like that comes up again in the future. Okay, Ask Candi. How do I deal with my parents being so mean to me? Because recently I was diagnosed with the untreatable STD, and I let myself process it for a month before I told my parents. And when I told my parents, they got mad at me for it, called me rude names, talk behind my back. I don't know how to deal with it because they know that I have mental health problems with depression, and little things that they are mad at me for can cause my problems to come back again. I'm 24, and then she adds, this is why I never trust them with anything. I'm so sorry you're having to go through that. I think sometimes, unfortunately, I don't want to make excuses for parents, but sometimes we're just so reactive when our kids make decisions or things happen to our kids that we aren't happy about, whether it's we don't approve or we're disappointed. We just immediately like, how could you do that? You know, what made you think that was a good idea? And how could you let this happen? Tiny bit, I would say, just cut your parents some slack. I personally would probably go to my mom, or maybe whichever your parents is a little bit more understanding. Since it is like a STD issue, I would feel like maybe you would feel more comfortable talking to your mom about it. But I would just be like, approach her again and say, can we really just have a more mature conversation about this? Because you know what? You're not the first person this has happened to. You should look up the statistics of how many people have herpes. Like, it's very, very common. You just need their support to be there for you through whatever treatment you need to go through. And yeah, the fact that you already have like mental issues, this isn't helping for them to be treating you negatively. So if it were me, I would personally just take my mom aside and be like, Mom, can we just have a mature conversation about this? I need you to be more supportive. Yes, I already feel bad about myself that this happened, but I also have to move forward, handle this like an adult, and it would be nice if you could be supportive and be on my side instead of, you know, treating me like I did something. It's not like you did this to hurt them. You know what I mean? You're going through the pain. You're the one going through having to deal with this STD. Like, they should try to be more supportive and just talk to them about it and be ready to explain why their support is so important to you and how them treating you poorly it's not solving any problems. It's not going to make the STD go away. So why not just all get on the same page and they can learn to be supportive of you instead of, you know, looking down at you. Okay, I'm a plus size woman and I have been romantically talking to this guy for a few years, and I just recently found out that he has a trigger with plus size women. I try to be understanding, but because of it, I'm always putting myself down while talking to him. How can I stop putting myself down over it? So I had actually asked, what is his trigger? Like, he just likes plus size women? And like, have you been involved with him physically at all? So she replied, he has only told me that his trigger is being physically intimate with plus size women, and I haven't been physically involved with him because he doesn't want to. And whenever I talk about the feelings of wanting to do anything like that with him, I immediately put myself down for it. All right, I don't know how to answer this without probably sounding a little bit harsh, but I personally, like, okay, so you've been talking to this guy for a few years and you just recently found out that he has like a trigger or he has issues with plus size women and you're a bigger girl. Like, I feel like, do you really need someone to tell you this? Maybe you do, but you deserve better. There's no man in this world, I don't care who he is, how good looking he is, how nice he is, anything, that deserves to see you naked if he's not going to appreciate you to begin with. I don't care what size you are. I don't care if you weigh 50 pounds. I don't care if you weigh 400 pounds. If he's already sending you the vibes that like, I'm not into bigger women, I just personally would be like, okay, I'm out. Like, I'm a bigger woman. You're clearly saying you're not into bigger women. what else here is there to discuss? Like, I'm a bigger girl, okay? And I'm not saying that when I'm naked or in lingerie or whatever, I feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. I certainly have things that I'm not like confident about, but my feelings about myself are never because of my partner saying or acting ways that are making me feel bad about myself. That's the pressure and the opinions that I put on myself. If I was with someone that literally made me feel bad about myself because they said they're not into bigger women, I would be like, great, then you're not getting any of this. Period. Regardless of your size, all women deserve to be treated like queens. And if he's already making you not feel that way and you haven't even been physically intimate with him yet, I say the romantic relationship is over and you need to find somebody who's going to appreciate you, for all of you. Okay, next question. Any advice on how to build up confidence to tell the guy I like that I like him? So we just recently celebrated International Women's Day. Women rule the world. Like, we make the babies, we run the households, we have the power. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. I'm kind of old-fashioned in a lot of ways when it comes to like men versus women roles. However, when it comes to relationships, when I think back to the days before I was married, like I kind of just was always in the mindset, I didn't waste time when it came to a guy. If I liked him, I don't necessarily think you have to say the words like, I like you. I think it's pretty clear when you have a crush on a guy or you want to spend time with a guy and you're reaching out, you're calling, you're texting, whatever it is you kids do. Because I'm thinking back to my times, you would call. We had to call, or I had a pager there for a while. Nowadays, it's got to be even easier because you can text or Snapchat or whatever you do. If you text a guy and he responds right away, that's a good sign. If you say, hey, let's hang out on Friday, there's a new movie that came out I want to go see, and he wants to go with you, that's a good sign. If you're like, hey, I want to go get tacos on Saturday, and he wants to go with you, another good sign. If you try all those things and he's like, no, I'm busy, I have to hang with my friends, I have to do this, I have to do that, and he doesn't make an effort to say, well, no, I can't do that on Friday, but how about Sunday instead? Just think showing interest in someone is enough to kind of send that message of, hey, I like you, let's hang out, maybe this can be something. And he doesn't respond in a positive way, then you move on to the next guy, because we all know there's plenty of fish in the sea. In terms of building confidence, you just have to tell yourself, what do you have to lose? Yes, I know it could break your heart, but you know what? Life goes on and there's gonna be another guy. There's no reason not to be confident. Confidence is attractive. A lot of guys really like it when women take charge, and a lot of guys like when women make the first move, whether it's asking them out on a date, meeting in for a kiss, holding hands, whatever it may be. You don't have to wait for the guy. You want to do it? Do it. All right, last question. And the question is, my boyfriend is going to college and I'm not. He stayed home for 2 years to do community and is now going to a university. I trust him, but not others. And I'm scared all of this will have a big influence on him. I feel like all guys lie a little to keep their girlfriend happy. How do I change my mindset? He seems to get annoyed every time I bring it up that I'm upset and scared that he's leaving. I need a drink before that one. I love that you said you trust him, but you don't trust everybody else, because I do feel like that is the biggest fear we all have. So I 100% understand exactly what you're getting at. I think my best advice in this situation is, and I gave this kind of in a video once before, trust is probably one of the hardest parts in a relationship. Like, you could have great communication, but without trust, there's still always going to be things that happen and issues that arise that you're gonna find difficult to get through just because of that little lack of trust. You're college aged, so the fact that I'm telling you to try to do this when it took me years to even get there myself. So be kind to yourself, because this is not easy. But what I finally learned was I can worry all day long. I can drive myself crazy, I can feel negative about myself because I feel like, oh, what if something happens and he finds someone better? I can what if this, what if that? Every scenario, like he's gonna go to college parties, he's gonna meet a lot of new people, guys and girls. But the key is learning and understanding that it doesn't matter how much you worry about all of those things, you're still not going to be able to control the outcome at the end of the day. And the chances are 99% chance nothing bad's going to happen. He's going to come home at the end of that semester of college for summer break, spring break, whatever it may be, and you guys are going to be fine. That 1% chance that something bad could happen is not going to be controlled on the amount of worry that you are putting yourself through every day. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, regardless if you don't worry at all, or regardless if you worry yourself to death and become a miserable person to be around. Again, so what I have learned is to try my hardest to put my own happiness in front of my fear of being lied to or cheated on or whatever the case may be, because life just goes by so fast in this stage of life that you're going through right now. You want to enjoy and embrace all those moments, and the last thing you want to do is look back on, wow, I really ruined those years with worrying about my boyfriend making a wrong decision. And eventually, either you guys are going to get married and ride off into the sunset, or something else is going to break up the relationship. Either way, you're not going to get that time back that you wasted not trusting him and feeling just miserable every day. I know how that feels. I think the second step of this whole process is learning that even if he does make a bad choice or lie to you about something and the relationship ends up not working out, at the end of the day, you will be okay. And that is the biggest lesson that I've tried to share with everyone when I talk about trust. Is, again, it's taken me so long to get to that point in my own life because of things that have happened to me in the past and just the fears that I have. But I finally got to this point where I just can't put myself through that misery of worrying all the time, because I'm a strong woman and I know no matter what happens, absolutely, I'll be sad, I'll throw things across the room, break things, whatever. I'll be so upset. But at the end of the day, I will be okay. And I think that's all you can tell yourself is you want to enjoy these years of your life with and without your boyfriend. You don't want to have to worry about on a daily basis what he's doing, because you are going to drive him nuts with your 50 questions every day. You're just going to have to trust and be that girlfriend. Regardless of what happens, you are going to be okay. All right, guys, so that's it. It wraps up the questions. Thank you so much for all of your amazing questions. If you guys want, we'll do another episode in 2 weeks. Feel free to send me questions through mail@ourfamilynest.com or through Instagram DM @ourfamilynest. So we'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye, guys.